Yesterday, the CEO of Netflix and the CEO of Warner were in front of a committee in the United States Senate because these two megalopolises want to merge. And that's going to come under the federal government scrutiny. Could be antitrust stuff, could be some FCC stuff, whole lot of concerns over this merger. And so the CEOs were there to answer any questions that senators might have. Now, Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, in light of Billie Eilish's remarkable statement the other day that we are all on stolen land in this country, he had that very question for the CEO of Netflix, and what came next was absolutely remarkable and hilarious. We're going to show that to you in a second. But first, let's start with this line of questioning having to do with some very, very provocative, controversial, incredibly divisive political statements put out on the Netflix official Twitter account. Watch this.
On June 20th, 2020, on its X page, Netflix posted a video titled, quote, "To my white friends, guilt, shame, embarrassment," end quote, and saying, quote, "We need to do everything in our power to amplify that message." Do you stand by that statement?
I have no recall of that statement at all.
Okay, I just read it to you. Do you have an opinion about it?
I don't have any idea what context it's in or anything. It sounds,
okay. In the wake
like
in the wake of the George Floyd riots on June 20th, Netflix posted on its page, "To my white friends, guilt, shame, embarrassment." What does that mean?
I think that is an uncharacteristic post that I'm deeply regret if that got posted that way.
Okay, well, it did.
Real fast. I deeply regret it because at the time I had no idea that I'd be sitting in front of you hoping to become a multi-gajillionaire with this merger that we're about to execute. Please just say yes, because I've already bought the island in the South Pacific. That's why I deeply regret it. I don't regret any of the messaging. I don't regret the politics of it, but I regret the fact that it's now biting me in the ass. I just thought I'd give you a little subtext there. I'm a mind reader. I know what's going on behind his eyes.
Netflix also said on May 30th, "To be silent is to be complicit." Okay. I was just reading you some things that Netflix posted at the time. So you don't stand by that statement then?
As I said, sir, we have no political agenda. Posting something like that would be quite political. But
right. I would agree.
Yes.
I would agree
and I would say, I hope that wouldn't happen again.
Okay. Netflix also said on June 10th, 2020, that to implement the BLM, the Black Lives Matter agenda, Netflix understood, quote, that our commitment to true systemic change will take time. Do you still think that takes time? Are you still actively engaged in this effort?
Again, sir, we're not engaged in political efforts like that.
Okay. Any longer? You're not. You were, but you're not now?
I can't think of a period of time.
Okay.
I think of the time you're talking about was quite a volatile time for many companies.
I think a lot of people said things they regret then. I'm just trying to figure out if they actually regret it or not.
I do that's my favorite part. Yeah, we're not engaged in any political activity. And Senator Schmidt says, any longer. Because clearly you were engaged at this time. Or did just some rogue, BLM activists get a hold of your account? Did they hack you? Is that what you're planning? I don't think this guy's the CEO of this, multi-billion-dollar merger, and he doesn't know what the hell's going on with his own company's public statements on social media. That's weird. Maybe we can help him out here because we did some digging and we found quite a bit of information that might shed a little light on what's going on there at Netflix. Are you watching, Mr. Sarandos? If you'd like, you could put us on retainer. It won't cost much. We'll do this research for you, sir. Like $5 million a year? That's nothing. That is nothing. $5 million a year, and we'll dig into these things for you, and we'll come up with some, great information. Here's where we found it. It's on your website. Here it is. Netflix reappoints Susan Rice to its board of directors. Well, that explains a lot, doesn't it? I don't know how these things got out there. I don't know why anyone from Netflix would ever think that we act in any political way. I don't know why we would suggest that anyone think that we're creating political-minded content or putting any political messages out on our social media. By the way, Susan Rice, one of the most partisan members of the Obama administration and big advisor to the Biden administration, is on our board of directors. Really? Why'd you pick her? Does she have some history in the entertainment business? Huh. That seems awfully, what's the word I'm looking for? Political. There you go. All right, that's a freebie, Mr. CEO, but I expect the $5 million a year retainer. starting next week, okay? And we'll keep doing this deep dive investigative journalism for you. Then came Senator Ted Cruz with a very simple question. Are we on stolen land? Watch him try. And I need you to know something. In the same way, if you ask Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris or Pete Buttigieg or Mark Kelly or Josh Shapiro or anybody else who pretends to think that they can be the Democrat nominee for president, if you ask them, I'm going to vote for you if you can answer this one question for me. Can a man get pregnant? They can't do it. They can't say yes, and they can't say no. Their brain explodes. They cannot answer the question. It is impossible for them to do it. Because if they answer in the way that will accommodate the voters in the Democrat primary, then they have no chance of winning in the general election. And if they answer that would accommodate normal human beings with functioning sentient brains, the voters in the general election, then they have no chance of getting the nomination in the Democrat primary. It breaks their brain. And that's what happens here. Because this guy has to go home to Hollywood. He has to sit at a table at a very expensive restaurant and try to seal a deal with a director or a writer or a producer or an actor so that he can get their content on Netflix. And if he answers the question, are we on stolen land, incorrectly, it's done. It's over. So watch what happens.
Are we right now on stolen land?
I have no idea the history of this land, of where we're sitting today.
Nor do I, Senator.
So that speaks volumes that neither of you are willing to say, hell no, we're not on stolen land. And I will say at the Grammys, when you see an entertainer say, nobody is illegal while we're on stolen land, and then you see entertainers leap to their feet clapping so excitedly at the notion that America's fundamentally illegitimate, it starts to convey that the entertainment world is deeply corrupt. And I will point out that same singer who says no one is illegal on stolen land promptly went back to her $14 million mansion, and somehow that stolen land she wasn't concerned about, just the United States of America. Look, Netflix has long been a left-wing company. Your founder, Reed Hastings, is one of the biggest Democrat donors in the country, including giving millions recently to the massive gerrymander in California, making it one of the most gerrymandered states in the union, because your founder desperately wants a Democrat House of Representatives. Susan Rice from the Obama White House is on your board of directors. You guys gave $50 million to the Obamas, as far as I can tell, to produce no discernible content whatsoever. How would you tell a Texan sitting at home to feel comfortable? CNN is already a dumpster fire. There's nothing resembling objectivity. There's nothing resembling journalism anymore. How are people at home, how should they feel even remotely confident that if this merger happens, the combined entity would not simply be a propaganda outlet pushing one particular political view with much greater market power than you have now?
Well, sir, we would fail. We would fail pushing a political view or propaganda. We deliver entertainment to consumers. Our consumers see our business pretty much the way they see America. About 40% conservative, about 40% liberal, about 20% don't know. And but when they turn on TV, they're tuned in to be entertained. And if we fail to entertain them by trying to promote propaganda or anything other than entertainment, we fail.
All right, I need to jump in here for a couple of reasons. First of all, this whole idea of, well, if we just did content that was one-sided, we would fail. We just wouldn't. Well, when you kind of got a quasi-monopoly on streaming in homes, you can go ahead and produce all of that garbage, and you'll still succeed. But also, perhaps you missed it in the questioning because Senator Cruz just sort of flew by it. But let's just remind you that if you're concerned that if you have one-sided political content and culturally political content that you might fail, why in the hell did you give these two $100 million? Again, do they have some history in Hollywood that I didn't know about? I thought he was a community organizer and then a state senator. I thought she worked for a hospital. They had never written a script. They had never produced a film, but they got $100 million. Why? You know why. And, by the way, as liberal, left-wing, and atrocious the content at Netflix was before this deal, it was times 10, 100 after this deal. You can't watch a show on Netflix without waiting for the transgender or gay storyline to creep in. I've told this story before. I can't remember if I told it on this show. They had a documentary about video games and the birth of video games. And the first episode was about Space Invaders. I was a very little tyke, but I loved Space Invaders when I played it. Right? There's a whole documentary, and each episode is about Pac-Man and Asteroid, whatever. So you're watching the first episode about Space Invaders, about video games, Space Invaders. And about 20 minutes into the episode, you learn that one of the top Space Invaders players back in the era, many years later, realized that he was really a transgender woman. And his outlet was playing Space Invaders. And so suddenly this entire thing about Space Invaders ends up being about this dude who dresses up like a woman. I mean, it's become a cliched joke. It's a punchline. No matter what the original content is from Netflix, you just watch it, and within moments, you'll see the transgender angle or the transgender character or what have you. So I had to stop there right in the middle of this questioning to just point out that they're lying. It is an absolute woke fest dumpster fire. And I wanted to just bring up the fact that the Obamas are a big part of the content that you see there, and it's by design. I also needed to stop real fast because what's the deal with the white mustache top hat dude in the background? Is that like a cardboard cutout? Was this AI added afterwards? Did a dude show up dressed like the Monopoly Man? Is that who he is? Is he the Monopoly Man? Again, I don't know what his political agenda is. He could be a woke liberal. I don't care. This guy deserves some credit. For A, dressing up like this, making sure B, he was in a position in camera shot, and then leaning over just enough so he can get seen. What is the deal with that? Okay, let's continue now with Senator Cruz.
We have a very broad range of content across not only HBO Max, but all of our platforms that we need to appeal to all audiences. Our content ranges from Hard Knocks from the NFL to shows like Deadliest Catch and Gold Rush. It's a very broad collection of programming that represents broad interests across America.
You have a wide range of programming on HBO. Name one program that is designed to appeal to conservatives.
We don't design our programming to appeal to
I can think of a lot that are designed to go to liberals. Name one.
None of our shows
don't
are designed to go to any political group. They're designed to appeal to...
Really, John Oliver's not designed to appeal to a certain group?
It's a program that... for which there's...
You just said none of your program is. Look, let me ask you, do you think CNN is fair and balanced?
I do believe CNN is a fair...
So
How great would it have been if somebody from the DOJ was there to drag him away after this testimony for perjuring himself? I think CNN is fair and balanced. Arrest this man! He's under oath! The John Oliver gotcha was fantastic, too. Oh, we don't design any content on our channel to appeal to one side of the political spectrum or the other. John freaking Oliver? Bill fucking Maher? Oh, excuse me. Damn it. Yeah, I'm thinking HBO now and again might let something slip through that maybe has some politics. Maybe here and there. Oops, don't know how that one got through quality control.
When CNN showed riots and fires behind them, and you put a chyron, mostly peaceful but fiery protest, was that journalism?
Sir, I'm not involved with CNN, and in fact, they're not part of this transaction, but they have an independent editorial board, they have independent news gathering. We don't direct...
They have no independence other than hating Donald Trump, which is why their viewership numbers have plummeted, because they don't actually report news. They instead engage in very biased propaganda. And I will say, the truest words you said a minute ago is when you said with respect to Mr. Sarandos, well, he and I see the world in very much the same way. That is exactly the problem, that In the world of journalism, it should not be propaganda. In the world of entertainment, there is a reason why entertainers who are even slightly right of center get blackballed in Hollywood, writers get blackballed in Hollywood, actors get blackballed in Hollywood. And I've heard nothing today to give me any confidence that this merger would do anything other than make that problem much, much worse.
He is absolutely right, and he was great. And you know who else was great? Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri, who raised the topic that I just ventured into, and that has to do with the uncanny knack of Netflix to produce content that has a whole lot of trans in it.
Why is it that so much of Netflix content for children promotes a transgender ideology? Almost half of your content for children, I'm talking about minor children now, I'm not talking about teenagers, minor children, promotes a transgender ideology agenda. I was just looking at the data here from your various series. And what concerns me is, just 2 days ago, a jury in New York awarded a former transitioner $2 million because she said that her psychologists and others pressured her into, they pushed on her an ideology that proved to be extremely detrimental. I'm sure you know that in the UK, the National Health Service in the UK has said that they're not going to perform transgender surgeries or any longer so-called gender-affirming care for minors, including in counseling, because it is so incredibly detrimental. Our own HHS has come forward with similar findings this past year, yet if you turn on Netflix, you'll find that an enormous amount, and I say this as a parent with 3 young children, an enormous amount of your children's programming has this ideology and agenda in it. Is this an advocacy position for Netflix? Is this an ideological commitment you have? I mean, why is this?
Senator Hawley, Netflix has no political agenda of any kind. I would tell you that.
Well, then why is your children's program so full of this highly sexualized, highly controversial agenda? I don't understand it. It seems strange to me.
Respectfully, sir, it's because it's inaccurate. We have millions of hours of children's programming.
You're saying it's not there. You don't have trans. You don't feature trans characters, trans storylines, trans themes. It's not in your programming.
I'm saying we feature a wide variety of stories and programs to meet a wide variety of people's tastes.
Why is almost half of it? Why does almost half of your children's program feature this highly controversial, highly sexualized material? That just seems strange to me. It can't possibly be a reflection of the population.
Senator Hawley, I don't have any idea where that number would come from or what that would be. I don't believe that's been your personal experience, but I can't speak to that.
I just want to jump in here because I don't want to criticize Josh Hawley because I think he does a great job. But we're just getting lost in the mix here. Is this 50% thing? 50% of your children's programming features transgender storylines or characters or issues. I would sort of downshift on that. I would say this if I were in this position. I would say, sir, excuse me, you produce children's content at Netflix? Oh, yes, we're very proud of our children's content. Good stuff, Bluey, stuff like that. Oh, excellent. Listen, why would you have a character or any kind of storyline at all in any of your children's content that involves transgender issues? Can you explain that to me? I mean, the 50% thing, by the way, I have no doubt is real, and it's worthy of conversation. But what about just one show? One character, one episode. Hey, I've got a follow-up question. Can you describe to me and define what it is to be a transgender 5-year-old? Can you explain that to me, please? I'll wait. Because you've got a show that suggests that there should be transgender or would be transgender, or you're appealing to and explaining what a transgender 5-year-old is. So please, sir, since you're very proud of your children's content, please explain to all of us what it is to be a 5-year-old transgender person. Go ahead. I'd love to hear that answer. I'd love to. That said, the line of questioning, he is obviously lying. He is obviously lying and just trying to avoid this conversation at all costs. See, it's a funny thing. When you've got the arrogance and hubris of being CEO of Netflix and you've got all this market share and you've got all this money, it's like, yeah, let's bring it on and we'll be edgy and we'll push the boundaries and we'll do this and we'll do that. And then when you want your multi-billion dollar, I'm going to take over entertainment worldwide merger with Warner, suddenly you're a little shy about all the things you've been producing. Suddenly you play dumb. I'm sure at the cocktail parties in Hollywood, he is the smartest man ever to walk this planet when it comes to entertainment business. But suddenly when you have to answer for it to the American people through our representatives, oh no, heck, I don't even know how to turn on my TV. I still get confused programming my VCRs. What? We don't have VCRs anymore? He's lying.
Well, what do you mean you don't think it's been my personal
I don't-
experience? You don't think that I monitor what my children watch on your... Here's what I tell you what my personal experience is since you bring it up. My personal experience is that my 3 children, I can't let them watch anything they want on Netflix. I can't let them watch anything on Netflix unless I preview it, because I don't have confidence in what's on your platform. I don't know what they're going to encounter, and I tell you what, I don't want my kids being pushed an agenda about their sexuality or gender identity when I have not had the opportunity first to discuss it with them and to form them in that. And I, frankly, on behalf of parents around the country, it offends me that Netflix is pushing this content at parents in what seems to be a very coordinated, thought through, planned out agenda in a way that, frankly, I think undermines parents, certainly undermines me and my wife. We have to watch every show beforehand before we can let our kids watch it. Now, I don't know. That seems pretty concerning to me. I know you make a gob of money on it, and maybe that's the answer. But it just seems to me that it's a disservice to the parents of this country, particularly given what's happening with our youth on this subject.
So if I may answer, like I said, we have millions of hours of content on Netflix at any given time. We have state-of-the-art tools for you to manage those choices for your children and to block any title that you might be offended by for any reason. So we are parents at Netflix as well. We share all your concerns about raising kids, and also the ability to raise them as you see fit in your household and anyone else's household as well.
My concern is that you don't share my values or those of many other American parents, and you want the United States government to allow you to become one of the largest, if not the largest, streaming monopolist in the world. I think we ought to be concerned about what content you're promoting.
Yeah, especially when the other alternative for your children's programming or for other entertainment needs is that other giant, second biggest or biggest, depending on what the final numbers are on this merger, turn out to be entertainment and news company. That would be Disney, ABC, and we know what their track record is with this regard. Oy. I'd love to hear from you in the comments section. Do you think this merger should go through based on what you saw right there from these CEOs? Let us know in the comments section. And my offer still stands. Actually, we haven't heard back from them yet, have we? Okay, it's now $7 million a year. $7 million a year, that's nothing. $7 million a year, we'll do the investigative journalism, and we'll discover all the crazy woke garbage Netflix is doing so this CEO can be better informed and better prepared next time he has to testify in D.C.